All right, I thought this was kind of cool. Remember when Brianna Turner signed with the Fever and so many people, a bunch of people got all in their feelings about some old posts and tweets and were saying, that's hypocritical that they would bring her in when they're talking about protecting the locker room. And look, I'm not saying you have to agree with anything she posts on X. And I'm not saying, anything about that. You could scroll past, you could debate, you could say, I wish she posted less, whatever. But none of that was about the actual locker room, right? Like the locker room is what the people inside think and feel and your reputation around the league. And I had heard nothing about her that indicated she had ever been a problem on another team, and obviously a veteran in the WNBA at this point. Also, we have seen that the Fever consulted the players about these moves, or at least ran them by the big name players, which would have, of course, include Caitlin Clark. But Turner was the latest Fever player to get her introduction. And what stood out about that to me was that she shouted out everybody on the team. I mean, I don't know if that was planned. She rehearsed, but seems like a good teammate to me to be able to have something specific to say about every single one of your new teammates.
How are you feeling about being in Indiana and joining the team?
I'm really excited. I followed a lot of these players throughout their college careers and professional careers, so it's kind of like full circle moment to be on the same team with a lot of these players again.
Tell me what it was like that, what went into your decision to come here and join what's being built here at the Fever?
I think that the front office and the staff just really had a vision in place, and I felt that I could really complement their vision from the players. You got players like Kelsey Mitchell that was drafted here, that's been here this whole entire time and kind of seen the Indiana Fever built from the ground up. You got players like DB, who's going to be a future Hall of Famer, who deserves way more flowers than she's gotten, that I think is going to be a great compliment. Natasha Howard, I think one of the most athletic forwards in the league. Aaliyah Boston, she's young, but her ceiling is so high. Lexi's also been here a few years, so that's exciting. Sid Colson, one of the most recent players to win a championship, so just bringing that mindset to the team is going to be great. You have Damaris Dantas, who's such a great stretch big that can really just change how the defense guards you. Sophie Cunningham, just a high energy player that can also stretch the floor as well. Jaylen Brown, who went undrafted but found her way into the league last year, and I think to do that is just like remarkable. And of course, you have Caitlin. Like, she had such a phenomenal rookie season, so many great accolades, and I think the jumping from season 1 to season 2 players can also make a really big jump. So I'm excited to see her growth from year 1 and year 2. And she hasn't reached her ceiling yet either, so I'm really excited to watch her growth as well.
Talk about you on the court. Like, what sort of attributes do you think you're going to bring, and where will you add to the Fever from last year to this year?
Yeah, I think I'm really just like a calming presence. I feel like I never get too high or get too low. People are like, why don't you smile more? Why don't you get excited? I'm like, I'm just chilling. I'm vibing. Like, I feel like I'm really an observer. But I am really competitive as well. I like to run the floor, like to play defense, like to win. And I think the Fever was a place to be if I wanted to win.
Obviously, Notre Dame alum. Just how does it feel to be back in the state of Indiana? And, do you expect some fans, some Irish fans to be out? What's that looking like for you?
Yeah, the fandom was great when I was in South Bend, and I know obviously Fever fans are known to fill up Gainbridge Fieldhouse, so I'm really excited for that. I mean, I would say Indiana is such a big basketball state. The fan bases, they go full out for their teams. I've only been here a couple of days, and I've been stopped out in the public. People asking, where do you play for? I say the Fever. They're like, oh my God, the Fever! Like, and they get really excited. So it's really fun to have a community that's so excited about their local sports team.
How are you feeling about?
That was such a cool response. I really appreciated that. The way that she shouted out every player on the team there and went in depth as far as what she brings to the team. I mean, that's what stood out. I mean, she cited it there herself, right? She does run the floor, which we know the Fever are going to want to do. She does play defense, and we know that the Fever needed another big defensively. Aaliyah Boston ain't going to play the whole game. Turner is a good defender. A strong defender, a smart defender from what I've seen. She's also a good screen setter from what I've seen. So that's going to help. Her ability to set screens, free up Caitlin Clark, free up Kelsey Mitchell, and then her ability to run the floor, obviously, playing alongside Caitlin Clark. That is going to make a difference for the Fever going forward. And there's, this is not to oversell any move or say she's going to be relied upon. I mean, she only played spot minutes for the Sky, but she's not that far removed from playing major minutes for the Phoenix Mercury and being awarded for her defensive prowess. And I was impressed by her ability to catch and finish on the tape I watched, which was something that was lacking for the Fever last season, if we're being real about it, right? Which players on the team, that was kind of where the blooper reels would come from, that not everybody could catch and finish on the Fever team. So between the attitude there that she displayed, seems like she's a real team player in the locker room, right? And the skill set that she brings to the team, which fills a need, the signing makes a lot of sense. And I hope that initial outcry, both, she felt a certain type of way about it too, because if you remember, she also posted like, I'm not going to, this is who I am and what I'm about and all that. And I'm standing by my beliefs, which is cool too. I hope everybody can just move past that stuff, right? She has the right to feel and express how she wants to feel. You have the right to feel and express how you feel about it. But I don't see how any of that has anything to do with the Fever. And for the most part, her general premise and message was a positive one, right? I know people get caught in the weeds from last season and what happened with the Fever specifically and all the discourse around Caitlin Clark. But this is a basketball team. And this is a front office that I think did their due diligence on everybody they brought in, both from a personality and a personnel fit for the Indiana Fever. And Brianna Turner fits from a personnel standpoint. They needed more defense. They needed more size. They needed to back up big. Checks all those boxes. And then when they say protect the locker room, I mean, look, all the other players had good things to say. And I don't know if this was pre-planned or whatever, but to be able to go through your entire new team and say something positive about your entire new team, I think bodes well for how she will fit in with the Fever. And, so many of those players are new players to the team too. And, they're vets. They've been around. They have won. That's the other thing. Bonner has won. Howard has won. And when you talk about catching and finishing, that's one of the things that I think Howard is going to bring to the table so much for the Fever. Turner is going to be another option there. They're just going to have so many different looks that they can bring. They can go small with Cunningham and Colson. They can go big with Turner and Howard. Then they've got the core of the team still in place. But the front office made it clear that they did consult with the star players. And it seems like everybody is on board with the moves that were made. And Brianna Turner is clearly on board with all of her new Indiana Fever teammates because she had something to say about all of them.